Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this evening, Indicom investigator testifies at a Mario Dean trial. Peter Parkinson, head of the forensic department at the Independent Commission of Investigations, today told the Westmoreland Circuit Court about how he collected blood samples from the cell where Mario Dean was beaten on August 3, 2014, and later attended Dean's post-mortem. During his examination-in-chief in the ongoing trial of Corporal Elaine Stewart and the constables Juliana Cleavon and Marlon Grant, Parkinson told the court that he collected 3 blood samples from the cell at the Barnett Street Police Station in Montego Bay, St. James, where Dean was beaten while in custody for possession of a ganja spliff. Parkinson testified that he also photographed the sections of the cell which had stains resembling blood on the walls and the sections of the cell's bunker beds. Additionally, Parkinson said that during Dean's post-mortem on September 2, 2014, he collected several samples including blood, fingernail clippings, bile and stomach contents, and photographed several injuries that he saw on Dean's body. The witness's examination-in-chief continues today. Stewart, Cleavon, and Grant are charged with manslaughter, misconduct in a public office, and perverting the course of justice under allegations that they were the officers on duty at the Barnett Street lockup at the time when Dean was beaten. Dean died at hospital 3 days later. Stewart also allegedly ordered the cell where Dean was beaten to be cleaned prior to the arrival of Indicom investigators. 63-year-old man shot and killed in Runaway Bay. The St. Ann police have launched an investigation into the murder of a senior citizen in Runaway Bay in the parish on Sunday. The deceased has been identified as Erwin Thompson, 63 years old, of Swamp District, Monique, St. Ann. About 6:29 a.m., residents of Ricky's Drive, Runaway Bay, reported they heard explosions and summoned the police. Upon arrival of the police, Thompson was found along the roadway with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the head. No motive has been established in Thompson's death. The Discovery Bay Criminal Investigations Branch is probing the matter. Police High Command expresses condolences to the family of Sergeant Wallace. The Jamaica Constabulary Force High Command says it is saddened by the death of Sergeant William Wallace, who was electrocuted at his home on Sunday, March 30. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is expressing condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Sergeant Wallace, who was assigned to the Protective Services Division. The force's chaplaincy branch and welfare department are providing support to the family members, friends, and colleagues of the sergeant, the High Command has said. Reports are that about 6:10 p.m., Sergeant Wallace was trimming a tree when he came in contact with high-tension wires and was electrocuted. The police were summoned and he was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Paulwell warns against the further delay in JPS license renegotiation. Opposition spokesman on energy, Philip Paulwell, is warning that the current terms of the JPS license could roll over if the government fails to move quickly to insert changes in the new license. The JPS license will come to an end in 2027, but Mr. Paulwell contends that negotiations for a new license should have started from 2023. Mr. Paulwell, speaking at a political meeting in the constituency of St. Andrew Northeast on Sunday night, said by July this year, the government should indicate its intention for the new license. According to him, there are important changes which should be made in the new license. Mr. Paulwell is also questioning the government's delay in holding discussions with the JPS.
For example, there are some consumer protection provisions that we want to put in the license. Right now, if a power surge comes and blow up your refrigerator and your TV, the JPS will tell you that the license that they have and the agreement that you have with them exclude liability for certain things. We want to change that. We want to make sure that if there is a power voltage that hit you, that you don't have to be responsible for the damage done to your equipment, that the JPS pays because this is their fault why you have these high voltage. So there are many things that we need to do in relation to the license, but this government has sat by doing nothing. And I call on the government tonight to indicate to the country why it has not started these negotiations that were due from 2023. Why they are so tardy. Why have they not energized the Energy Council to get these negotiations going?
Attorneys caution against the domino effect of creating new Portmore Parish. Attorney at law Hugh Small has expressed a concern that if the government moves forward with its plan to make Portmore Jamaica's 15th parish, another political party may attempt to reconfigure other parish boundaries to gain an electoral advantage. The parliamentary opposition recently took the government to court over its push to declare Portmore a parish, accusing it of seeking an unfair advantage through the redesign of constituency boundaries in the process. Mr. Small, speaking with the news, posed the question, what if in the future a party thinks that by configuring the boundaries of 3 more parishes, they could create a new parish or supplement what they perceive their advantage in one of the smaller parishes? He said he would hope even the people in parishes not affected by such changes would take strong exception to any such move.
What if in the future a party, because it feels that it has had such success in the past election, thinks that if by configuring the boundaries of 3 more parishes, they could create a new parish or supplement what they perceive to be their advantage in one of the smaller parishes? I should hope that the people of Westmoreland, the people of Trelawney and the people of Clarendon and St. Mary would look at it not just as a matter that affects one of those other parishes, but it's a question of how are we regarded, and is power going to be exercised in the interest of partisan interest rather than our own.
Clive Monroe Jr., also an attorney, commenting in the same vein, painted a scenario in which, like in shares, you just do a stock split. What if you split Wester Kingston into 3 constituencies and all of them vote for the JLP, and that could be said for a PNP stronghold as well?
You start there and then you end up now getting carried away. What if you simply just do, like in shares, you just do a stock split? So what if you split West Kingston into 3 constituencies and all of them vote for the JLP? Like at some point, and that could be said for any other, it should be said for a PNP stronghold as well. At some point you have to say, this is not really about parties. And I think there is this obsession with centralizing power towards parties when the power really was never supposed to be with parties, supposed to flow from the people to elected representatives and through systems rather than what is in the best interest of individual political parties.
Chief Justice Brent Sachs ruled on Friday that the government must give an unequivocal undertaking not to appoint a day for the Counties and the Parishes Amendment Act 2025 to come into effect until the procedure prescribed in Section 67 of the Constitution has been complied with. Section 67 of the Constitution deals with the process for a standing committee of Parliament to review the number of constituencies and the boundaries. The process is expected to take more than a year, and it could face more legal challenges from the People's National Party. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.